team like Kyrie and KD, or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s, but no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawgz.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawgz, and we back to it. You know how we do it. Why Larry Bird is underrated? Let's get into it, man. Why is he underrated? Is it because he, didn't want to talk to the media that much? Is it because he didn't have that overly smiling personality that Magic had? Was it because he was quote-unquote unathletic? Like, what were some things that y'all think that, people consider Larry Bird underrated for? Like, don't get me wrong, if you look at the stats speak for itself. He got 3 championships, he averaged, what, 25, 8 and 6 for his career, something great like that, but he still is underrated. Some people don't even have him in the top 15, top 20 of all time. So, let's see what happened in this video, but before we get into it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like this video. If you like this video, go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know, you right there that's watching, where do you rank Larry Bird? Aside from all the underrated talks, where do you rank Larry Bird at? And, let me know if you think he underrated, overrated, or if he is exactly where he should be. Let me know in the comments, man. But let's get into this video. We got why Larry Bird is underrated. Let's get it. Code? They start the video off with code? Stephen Brown, okay. Got the GOAT. They're showing the GOAT. Oh, it might be a good video. Let's see what they talk about.
It is widely accepted that Larry Bird is one of the greatest NBA players of all time, and even sneaks his way into the GOAT debate among many basketball circles. The thing is, I personally rank Larry Bird higher than most people do, as he's currently sitting in the 6th spot on my all-time list, and I even have him ranked slightly ahead of Magic Johnson, which is certainly a more uncommon opinion.
Let me know in the comments right now, who do you put first, Magic Johnson or Larry Bird? Which one do you think is the better player? It's tough. It's tough because Larry Bird, he could shoot, he could pass, he could rebound, he could defend, he could... he got hustle buckets, he was clutch, all of that. But Magic got 5 of them things. He got 5 to Larry Bird's 3. So I don't know, man. Let me know in the comments who you taking.
I think there's some major misconceptions to Bird's game that result in him not getting quite as much credit as I believe he deserves. And by the end of this video, I think that I can convince some of you that Larry Legend is in fact underrated. Before we get into some misconceptions, let's start with what most people already know about Bird, and I'll elaborate upon it. Over his 13-year career, Larry averaged 24.3 points on a stellar 56.4 true shooting percentage.
What's true shooting?
Despite their talent-heavy history, Bird is the Celtics' all-time leading playoff scorer. So whether it was in the regular season or the postseason, he was always an efficient and lethal threat.
They said that Larry Bird is the all-time playoff scoring leader. Who is the overall scoring leader for the Celtics? I thought that would have been Larry Bird too. Did somebody pass him? Maybe Paul Pierce. It might have been Paul Pierce. But let me know. Let me know in the comments who is the all-time leading scorer for the Celtics.
He was obviously a legendary scorer and an incredibly efficient shooter. Larry is objectively one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time, as he's tied with Craig Hodges for the most three-point contests won in a career with a total of 3. The thing is, Hodges participated in a total of 8 three-point competitions, while Bird only participated in a total of 4.
Who'd he lose to?
So he literally did the same amount of damage as the other all-time leader in half the amount of time.
Who did Larry Bird lose to in the three-point shootout?
You really could make the argument that Bird is the most all-around efficient scorer of NBA history. If that seems like a stretch, then consider this. During some of his prime years, Larry went on a 5-year stretch where he had 50-40-90 percentages.
50-40-90?
Only 9 players in NBA history have achieved at least one season of 50-40-90 percentages. Yet
50-40-90, for the people that don't know, that's what really would just like certify you as a great shooter. I mean, 50% from 2, 40% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. That means you are very efficient no matter where you're shooting at on the court. No matter if you're shooting layups, threes or free throws, you're very efficient. So 50, 40, 90 should be the goal for every single player. No matter if you're averaging 30 or 15, like you should always strive for that 50, 40, 90. Like that kind of validates you as a shooter, as a scorer, for real.
Larry did it over a 5-year stretch while putting up just about 28, 10, and 7.
Over a 5-year stretch he did.
The only player who has come close to that all-around efficiency over such a long period of time is actually Steve Nash. But the thing is, Nash was never primarily a scorer and averaged roughly half the amount of points that Larry did during his stretch. To efficiently score that many points on that kind of volume of all-around shot attempts is something that no one else has ever done as well as Larry Bird did. Again, maybe some of you didn't know the extent of how lethal Larry was as an all-around efficient scorer, but I do feel like that's probably the most commonly understood aspect of his game. Now for the misconceptions and the details that definitely make Larry an underrated player. There are a lot of people, especially younger basketball fans, who believe that Larry was a subpar defender. This is incredibly inaccurate, as Bird wasn't just a good defensive player, but a great one. As a 6'9" small forward, he definitely had the size and length to frustrate the offensive opponent. Sure,
maybe he didn't really have the athleticism that everybody talked about, but what made him a great defender was his will, was his toughness, you know, his mindset. Like, if you got that mindset to, you know, to just want to lock up, like, you're going to be a better defender than someone who, even with athleticism, but just don't really just take the initiative to be a good defender. Like, it comes from the heart, and it comes from the mindset more than anything, more than the athleticism.
There is the narrative that Larry was a slow and unathletic player, and thus it affected his defensive play. This is true to a certain extent, but it's also grossly exaggerated. What Larry did have are the most important traits of a great defensive player, which are hustle, heart, intelligence, effort, and availability.
I feel like I'm just saying what he's saying.
In any of these areas. He always put in the work, and he was incredible not only at reading the defenses, but also at anticipating them. Larry made 3 NBA All-Defense teams throughout the course of his career.
Give me that.
He even finished as high as 3rd overall in the Defensive Player of the Year running in 1983. He wasn't just a solid on-ball and help defender, but he was also a terrific pickpocket, as Larry averaged a fantastic 1.7 steals per game over the course of his 13-year career.
That's not bad at all.
His best evening in this area came on February 18th, 1985 against the Utah Jazz, when Larry dropped 30 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, and 9 steals in only 3 quarters of play.
In 3 quarters?
Due to them absolutely destroying the Jazz, Bird didn't play a second of the 4th quarter. To this day, the NBA record for the most steals in a single game is 11. So not only could he have easily been only the 2nd player to ever achieve the quadruple-double, but if Bird had played the 4th, he might have been the record holder for the most steals in a game.
You gotta play the 4th, man.
You have to be a great defensive player in order to be in a position to seize that record. On top of all of that, Bird led the entire...
They gotta let him play the 4th. I don't know, who was the coach at that point? Forget his name, but... They gotta just put him in, let him get one more steal, then sub him out. You can't just let him be 1 steal away from a quadruple-double. I get it, they was up 30, but come on, man. Come on. We need that quadruple-double.
Defensive win shares a total of 4 times. That's the 4th most in NBA history. Shares a total of 4. Of all of that, Bird led the entire NBA in defensive win shares a total of 4 times.
What is defensive win shares?
Most in NBA history. The only players ahead of him on that list are Tim Duncan, George Mikan, and Bill Russell. That is a remarkably short list of great defensive players.
Great defenders.
I'm not trying to say that Bird was on the level of someone like Dennis Rodman or Scottie Pippen. But to call Larry anything other than a great defensive player is either completely ignorant or is just plain disrespect towards his game. The other key area where people underappreciate Bird was his rebounding ability, as Larry was simply one of the greatest rebounding small forwards that the game has ever seen.
Very underrated rebounder.
He was aggressive and tenacious as he got as high as 11 rebounds per game in 1983. Qualities that I mentioned earlier, like his size, hustle, and intelligence, are also things that helped him.
Come on, Larry, you had no
on the court.
chance.
Over the course of his career, Larry averaged a whopping 10 rebounds per game, and when he was starting specifically at the small forward position, he averaged 9.5 rebounds per game. That's the third highest average among primary small forwards in NBA history. The only players ahead of him are Billy Cunningham and Elgin Baylor, who both played in the 1960s, which was easily the most inflated rebounding era of basketball history.
Baylor played in the 60s.
So not only is Bird an underrated rebounder, not only is he objectively one of the all-time great rebounders,
Bill.
but he's also arguably the greatest rebounder ever at his position. Along with all the other skills I talked about, Larry was also a remarkably gifted facilitator. But I won't delve into that much, because like his shooting, I also think that's an area that a decent amount of people have a strong appreciation for. Ultimately, I think it's his solid defense and his elite rebounding that people underestimate.
Not really though. Like, I mean, I probably more than the rebounding, but a lot of people don't know how great of a passer he was, because over the last, 6 months since I've been reacting to these videos, and I be trying to put people on to Larry Bird and stuff, I always talk about, before I even try to put people on, I always ask them, like, so yeah, what you know about Larry Bird? And like 95% of people be like, he was a great shooter. Yeah, we know he used to be a great shooter. Like, I know that. It's like, no, you don't know Larry Bird then, because Larry Bird was a very, very great passer. They say arguably the greatest passer at his position. You know, we can argue that for another day, but he was a phenomenal passer, rebounder, had so much heart, all of that. So he was much more than just a shooter.
Which is why I think he's underrated, regardless of the fact that people still refer to him as Larry Legend. Do you agree? Where does Larry Bird rank on your list of the greatest players of all time? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Okay, what we got right here? Stop disrespecting Jerry West, and how good was Shaquille O'Neal really? I think I needed to react to some more Jerry West videos because of what happened in Winning Time and how mad he was at the way that we kind of depicted him in the show. Like, let me dive into a little bit more of his videos. But shout out to this one. This was a good Larry Bird video. I saw some stuff in here that I really didn't know. You know, I probably reacted to maybe 50, 60 Larry Bird videos, and this is one I never reacted to. So shout out to the guy that made this video. I don't really remember his name, but shout out to him. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Go ahead and like this video if you like this video. And go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know why you think Larry Bird is underrated, overrated, or exactly where he should be. And also, where does he rank all time? But I appreciate y'all like always. That wasn't that long of a video. I got some more videos to get into today. It's a Saturday. My Saturdays, you know, I'm going to try to react to as many videos as I can so I can get these out to you during the week. But I appreciate y'all like always. We out.